Coming up on MCTV this week, theater students take a seat in the director's chair and find out why no habla inglés last week. This week starts now. Hello and welcome to MCTV This Week. For Troy Philbin, I'm Cameron Lyon. Students giving direction to other students can be a challenge, but it's a role that MC theater majors are learning to play. Before break, students in the theater directing class held auditions for the one-act plays they were directing. The one-acts give students the opportunity, theater major or not, to get involved in theater. 9 student directors were in charge of choosing and casting their play.
A requirement for our department, and since we feel that knowing how to successfully direct is a very important part of the theater process.
The one-acts will be performed on April 30th and May 1st.
MC students recently got a glimpse into Abraham Lincoln's private life. Stephen Barry, a professor at the University of Georgia, spoke about his book, House of Abraham. Lincoln lost most of his family when he was very young and found comfort from his wife, Mary Todd's family, despite their mixed feelings towards him. He went on to explain how Lincoln had a very close relationship with many of the Todd sisters and brothers, despite their habits of gambling, alcohol abuse, or even some having loyalty to the Confederacy during the Civil War. Barry also talked about several different times Lincoln's wife, Mary, had committed treason by giving out secrets during the Civil War, as well as a time during Lincoln's presidency where he had housed one of Mary's sisters in the White House for a week during the war, despite the fact that she was married to a Confederate general.
To understand that Lincoln didn't exactly have a family of his own. So his mother died early, his brother died early, his sister had died early. He'd never gotten along with his father. So he doesn't have a family of his own until he marries into the Todds. So what he understands about family, he learns from them. So now he's part of a family. And now the Civil War splits that family in half. So he's looking at what this Civil War is. He's understanding it in family terms because that's his personal experience.
If you would like more information on the History Department, head to the Monmouth homepage and click on the Academics link.
It's thought that as much as 2/3 of the world's population is bilingual, and as we found out at the Modern Foreign Language Student Showcase last week, many of them go to Monmouth College. The showcase included presentations on several different cultures, as well as short movies, readings of poems, and song lyrics in various languages, as well as a performance of On My Own from the musical Les Miserables in the original French. The showcase was an opportunity for students to immerse themselves in foreign language and culture and share it with their classmates, but also was a chance for students to celebrate their own culture.
And we do lots of fun things there,
So you could see that not only that they explore, they encounter, or they celebrated the different cultures that we have around the world, or they celebrated the encounters between one culture and another.
The Student Showcase was just one in a series of modern foreign language events held last week.
China's ever-growing presence in developing Africa has been met with suspicion by some in the world community, but it is a topic for discussion for the latest Great Decisions lecture. History professor Jeremy Poole spoke about the Chinese and African culture and China's influence in the African region. Through his research, he discussed Tazara, a Chinese-funded rail line that is able to transport goods through Africa. Great Decisions' next meeting will be led by Colonel Steve Bloomer. The topic that night, the threat assessment in the period of scarcity, will be held tonight at 7:30 in the Highlander Room.
Taking a look at some events on campus this week. Thursday, Divapalooza features 3 powerhouse female vocalists that bring the house down at 7:30 in the Dahl Chapel. Comedian Chad Daniels will be performing in the Dahl Chapel Friday at 7:30, brought to you by ASAP. And everybody come to the Alpha Zeta Delta Easter egg hunt on the President's Lawn Saturday at 1.
Coming up in sports, it's all business in Florida. See how the baseball and softball teams fared next. The Monmouth College baseball and softball teams escaped the cold and windy of Illinois and headed to warm and sunny Florida for the first games of the season. After a 12-22 campaign and a fourth-place finish in the Midwest Conference, the Fighting Scots baseball team looked to better that mark this season. The Fighting Scots came back home with 2 wins of their 8 games, and during the spring break, the Scots hit a combined of .298. The first performer of the week for baseball was Ryan Crandall, who averaged .500 at the plate with 18 hits, 5 RBIs, and 1 home run. On the mound, the Scots had an ERA of 4.66 combined. The Scots took down the Thunder of Wheaton College 7-6 after a 3-run inning in the 9th by Wheaton College, but they held on for the victory. They also took down Rockford College in a slugfest by the final score of 12-10. Both Crandall and Matt Glenn went deep in that game to edge out the Regents. The Monmouth College Fighting Scots will head to Rock Island this weekend for the Augustana Invitational. Their first game's on Friday against the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. The Fighting Scots softball team brought some heat of their own to Florida, winning their first 3 games and only allowing 1 run in those games. After defeating Farley Dickerson College 7-1, sophomore Alyssa Johnson threw a no-hitter in a 3-0 victory against St. Lawrence University. That no-hitter is the first since 1996 for Monmouth College. After that, the hot pitching continued, and Alyssa Edler tossed a complete game shutout against Suffolk University. She only allowed 3 hits in a 6-0 victory. The Fighting Scots won 7 games and only lost 2 games during spring break. During those 7 wins, the Scots outscored their opponents 62-10. Courtney Bennett led the team in hitting. She averaged .550 with 11 hits and 20 at-bats. Also, Edler was undefeated on the mound during spring break with a 1.11 ERA and 11 strikeouts. Johnson, who had the no-hitter, had 21 strikeouts for spring break. The Scots will put their 4-game win streak on the line here at home this Saturday in a doubleheader against Eureka College. The first game is scheduled for 1 p.m. In other news, Zipporah Williams goes pro. Just announced this morning, the senior forward will sign with the Chicago Ladies team of the Women's American Basketball Association. We'll have more on this story for you next week. That's it for sports. Cameron and Tori will be right back after the break. That's it for MCTV this week. I'm David Beidle.
And I'm Tori Philbin. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday for a new edition of MCTV.
And I'm Cameron Line. Remember, you can find us on the web 24 hours a day at monmouthcollege.edu/MCTV. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.